Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to another Top 10 Dolls video. Today we're going to be taking a look at my personal Top 10 list for Gen 2 of Monster High, which is widely regarded as the worst generation, so this should be quite an interesting video. Really quick, if you haven't seen my recent videos, I'm moving, hence the empty shelves behind me and like the boxes and stuff. I'm also batch filming today. I'm trying to film 3 videos because that's all that I need to film that I think will get me through 1 video a week up like through the move. That's my goal because I didn't want to disappear completely. I know I made a whole video being like, oh, I'm not going to be here as much, but I also didn't want to disappear completely. So I'm trying to do 1 video a week, and I'm hoping that if I just film 3 videos today, that'll get me through it. So prepare to be sick of this outfit and this face. But back to the point of the video, I also wanted to say, like, relevantly, I don't think I'm gonna make a bottom 2 or bottom 10 video for G2. Normally with these, I make a top 10 favorites and a top 10 least favorites. So like with Gen 1 of Monster High, I did my top 10 favorites and then my top 10 worst. But I don't think I'm gonna do that with G2 for a couple of reasons. One, I do think that like it's just so easy to hate on G2 for especially the quality or lack thereof that a lot of the dolls had. And I just don't feel like it's fun anymore, if that makes sense. Like some negative stuff I say is like entertaining to me because I like to be critical. I don't know why. That's just part of my personality. I kind of think it's fun. So like talking about new Skeletor dolls or new like collector dolls or even just new like Gen 3 dolls, it's fun to me to critique those and talk about them negatively if I feel negatively about them. Like obviously I'm not just doing it to do it. I'm being honest. But that's kind of fun for me because it's like new and interesting. Whereas talking shit about G2 is just kind of like beating a dead horse, literally. Like I don't need to do it. And like I'll mention it. Like I'm not shy about being like, yeah, some of the Gen 2 dolls kind of had rough quality, but I just don't feel like I need to make a top 10 worst G2 dolls. The other reason being because it would just be full of like the really, really low quality dolls. So I don't even think it would be an interesting like least favorites video. So yeah, we're just going to focus specifically on the positives for Gen 2 of Monster High. And today we're going to highlight what I think are the top 10 best dolls from that generation. Key thing there, as always, this is just my opinion. You guys are absolutely free to disagree with me as long as we can all be like civil and calm about it. And I definitely like to hear what your personal top 10 would be in the comments down below. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into my list. Alrighty, so as always, we're going to be starting at number 10 and working our way up to what I think is the best doll of Gen 2, just because like it's more fun to build a little bit of suspense that way. And so we're starting out with the Sculptment Locker Room Frankie, which is, I feel like, a shocking choice for me because I never liked Frankie until G3, and I also don't like sports dolls. So I can't explain to you why I kind of think this doll is good. It probably helps that like amongst all of the G2 dolls, there are a lot that are just so low quality and so bad that it's like easier for other ones to stand out. But there's just something about this Frankie doll that I feel like has a lot of charm. I don't know what it is. Like, I really can't explain this one. I don't really have a lot to say about her. Like, I'm not going to gush over her. But when I went back through the catalog of all of the old G2 dolls, she did stand out to me, at least enough to like barely squeak onto the list. Like she's obviously not taken first place, but credit where credit is due. I do think that this Frankie doll was pretty cute. Then coming in at number 9 is going to be the Scream and Sugar Nephra. This was part of a 2-pack with Amanita Nightshade, but we're like specifically going to be looking at Nephra. I just think this is a pretty solid doll. Like it's not my favorite Nephra. That would be her signature doll. I just absolutely top tier, but I do still think it's quite nice. I don't know if I'm obsessed with the little hints of purple, but I do like the other colors that were chosen for her. She's kind of got like a little bit of a darker color scheme than like the signature Nephra doll that I first think of, and I think it honestly really works for her. I also like the cut of everything, especially the top layer of her shirt. I just think it lays really, really beautifully on the doll. I like that it's kind of sheer so you can just barely see what's going on underneath, and overall, it's like not the most elaborate design, not the craziest thing. There's not like the most accessories, but I think that this is a very simple but effective way to design a Nephra doll, and I think she looks really good. Number 8 is going to be the Skull Shores Rochelle. Now, I feel like this one is not as surprising. I think that amongst the fandom in general, Skull Shores, that's not the right name. Oh my god. I can't believe I said that. Shriek wrecked. Shriek wrecked Rochelle. Wow. I'm so tired. I think that the Shriek Wrecked line is considered one of the best lines of G2 for a lot of people, and I definitely would agree with that. And spoiler alert, there's going to be another Shriek Wrecked doll higher up on this list. But I do think that Rochelle deserved the number 8 spot. I just think this is a really fun design. I think that the nautical theming is really interesting, and like some dolls definitely did it better than others. Like that Galliope, I think, is rough. But I do think that the Rochelle looks really, really nice. I love the use of rose gold for her. I just think that it works very, very well with her existing color palette. And I also think the headpiece with all the tentacles is like so fun. I love it. She's not my favorite, obviously, but still really solid. Number 7 is a doll that I talk about with like more frequency than I should, and probably one that doesn't deserve to be up this high on the list, but like it's my list, so here she is. And that is the Ghouls Beast Pet Cleo. Is a lot of this because she comes with a cat that I think is super cute? Yes. I can't help it that I have an extreme cat bias. I would say I'm sorry, but like I'm not really sorry. That cat is precious. I do also think that the doll is cute. Like I really, really want to get this doll. I just think she's so precious. I like that she has like little cats on her shoes and in the pattern of her dress. Cause like again, cats. But I don't know, much like the Nephra, she's obviously not like the craziest Cleo design ever, but I think that she's really like cute for what she is. I feel like she's really simple, but it's nice. It's not like budget in the sense of like some of the other G2 dolls where all of the quality was lost and it's just like a lot of plastic, but it's just like a nice, easy little dress and it comes with a cat. So she's at number 7 for me. I'm sorry. Number 6 is another Cleo because I am a Cleo fan, and that is the Garden Ghouls Cleo. I honestly think that Garden Ghouls wasn't that bad a line. Teresa is a little questionable, but I feel like this was another pretty solid line from Gen 2, and Cleo just looks so cool with her scarab beetle wings. Like, that's the main selling point for me. Her dress is kind of whatever for me, like her hair and all of that. Like I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's like outstanding. But the wings is so cool. There were a couple of other dolls in this line that also got wings. I just really like Cleo's, especially because I think it's cool that they did the scarab beetle and it's like thematic to her. It's not just here's some fairy wings. I just think that was a really fun design concept. Mad kudos to whoever came up with that idea because I think it was executed very, very well. And she definitely deserved to be in 6th place for me. Coming in right off the back of Cleo is another Garden Ghouls doll that I just like a tad bit more, and that is the Twyla from the Garden Ghouls line. This is funny because I did only recently do a video where I like fixed, quote unquote, I just kind of did some edits for Gen 2 dolls, and I did change this Twyla because I do think there are some things that could be improved upon with her, but mostly that was in terms of like color. Like I added some extra color details to the doll, but the base doll, like as she comes, I do think she's really, really beautiful. Her wings might not be as thematic as Cleo's, but I think that they look absolutely sick. I like the design of her dress. Like everything about her, I feel like looks good. Again, yes, there are things that I might tweak personally to make it go from like good to great, but I already think that she's really close there. I don't think there's a ton of stuff that's like, oh god, this is absolutely horrible. And overall, even though I did make an editing video about her and like I changed some things, I still think she's really solid. I still think she's really beautiful. Low key, I would like to get her at some point, and so she had to be on the list. We're at number 4, and I'm just now realizing how many Cleos are in this. Like, like almost half of the top 10 list, spoiler, is just Cleo. I don't know. I like a lot of her dolls. Anyway, this one is the Dance the Fright Away Cleo, who I do have. Now, I did actually give her a repaint. So, like, I like mine a little bit better than the baseline one, just because I do think that sometimes the sweeter G2 face didn't work the best for Cleo. But that being said, I think her outfit is so fun. I just really love the way this dress is designed. I think the cut is beautiful. I think the fabrics that were chosen are beautiful. Her little mask is super cool. The hair in person is like unruly as all get out. Sorry, my neighbor is making like a lot of noise. That scared me a little bit. I was like, is someone in my house? And then I realized it's just the upstairs neighbor. Anyway, though, the hair is a little unruly in person, but like it's still cute. I don't know. I don't know what it is about this doll. There's just something about her that I think is really charming. Maybe I am biased because I have my repainted version and I think that she looks really, really good. But even if it is biased, this whole list is biased. So like she's popping on. Breaking into the top 3 is Party Ghouls Abby, which genuinely is a shocker if you've heard me talk about Abby dolls on this channel before, because 99% of the time, I prefer Abby to have like fun pastel colors, and I don't like it when she has a dark color scheme. So like, usually I like everything that is the opposite of this doll, but I just think this one really, really took everything that I don't typically like about Abby and executed it so well. Like, yes, she has the darker color scheme, but unlike some of her other dolls that have a dark color scheme, like the I can't remember if it was Picture Day. I'll put a picture up here of the one that I'm talking about, but like that one has some black elements and some like more saturated colors, and I just don't think it looks good. In fact, I think that that is like one of the worst Monster High dolls, like from Gen 1. But this one just looks so nice. Something about the way that the colors were done, like something about the way that that darker tone and that saturation was done on this doll just looks so different and so right. It's so pretty. I just really, really like this one. I don't know what else to say. Like, she goes against all of my expectations, and yet she's amazing, so she gets 3rd place. Number 2, I promised there would be another Shriek Wreck doll, and here we are. It's Laguna. I just think this is a really, really lovely doll. For like a, you know, nautical sort of themed line, I think it's fitting that the sea monster looks really, really good in this line. She's just so fun. Everything about her design I feel like is done so purposefully and so well, but the star of the show for me is absolutely those shorts, just because they're very different. Like, they feel like they go well with the outfit, they feel like they're on theme, but they're not something that we usually have seen in the doll world. I don't even think now I've seen a lot of dolls that have this sort of short, and like this doll came out ages ago and it's still very unique in that sense. I just think they're really cool because most of the time now, especially with like G3 Monster High, listen, I love the high-waisted shorts. I understand though that they're getting used a lot, and so like it's kind of frustrating for some people, but that's like the kind of thing that we usually see is shorter shorts that are high-waisted, or we'll see like pants. But this like knee-length loose short is not something that's very common within Monster High or other doll brands that I'm very familiar with, and I just think it looks amazing. I feel like they had done so well with the design of this doll, and I just love those shorts so much. Her headpiece is also stellar. I just think this whole design really, really came together in an amazing way. I would love to have her someday, and so she definitely deserved to be the number 2 spot. But there's still one doll that beat all of the other ones out, one that stands above the crowd of G2, one that I will never own because she's ungodly expensive, and another Cleo, and that is Music Class Cleo. I just think there's nothing at all wrong with this doll except the fact that she doesn't have articulation in her arms, but design-wise, she is breathtaking to me. First of all, I love the harp that she has. I think that is absolutely sick. Her shoes, like the huge chunky shoe. I'm such a sucker for chunky shoes, whether that's boots or like a chunky heel or chunky sneaker. I love big fat shoes. Like, I just really love it. So like the silhouette of the shoe I think is amazing. The dress is not like the craziest thing we've ever seen, but it is really pretty. I like her hair, and I love the makeup. Like, the bright blue lip is so cool. It's just fun and funky, and it feels very like quintessentially Monster High to me to do something like that bold, because, you know, like other doll lines will sometimes throw in like a bold lip here or there, but a lot of other doll lines tend to do kind of more neutral tones, or like more quote unquote acceptable bold lips, if that makes sense. Like, I think of like Rainbow High with Michelle, who has like the orange lips. I mean, she is an orange themed doll, so like the orange lips make sense. But it's interesting to me, I'm going off on a tangent, sorry. But it's interesting to me that I feel like warm toned bold colors are much more acceptable than like cool toned bold colors. So like a bold orange is more acceptable than a bold green, and like a bold pink is much more acceptable than a bold blue. It's just kind of fascinating to me. But getting back to the topic at hand here, for Monster High, I think those like lesser used bold colors really fit the theme because like they're monsters. It makes sense. And I love the execution of this makeup on Cleo. I just think everything about her is absolutely beautiful. Again, she's so expensive, and like I just cannot bring myself to spend that much on her because like I know she's not objectively worth that much, but I do love her dearly. She's like a grail doll of mine that I'll probably never own, but like I would love to if I ever was just fabulously wealthy. And yeah, there's nothing I can critique about her, again, aside from the lack of articulation. I think she's absolutely stunning, and so there was no question for me about her being number 1. Like, when I knew I was going to make this video, she was the first one that I wrote down. She had to be here, and I love her a lot. But yes, guys, those are going to be my top 10 G2 dolls. I do think it was kind of nice. Like, I think it was kind of fun to take a look at this generation of Monster High that tends to get a lot of hate and try to pick out kind of the best pieces of it and kind of look at the more positive side of things. Not always what I do on this channel. Sometimes I can be quite negative, but I do think that this is like a fun little change and like a fun little thing to do is make like a top 10 list for G2. So as I said before, I'd love to hear your top 10 list for this generation of Monster High, and I'd also be very curious to see what you think of my choices. But yeah, that's going to be it for today, y'all. I hope you did enjoy. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Bye, guys.